Today's topic for discussion is life cycle of Chara. Chara, it is a algal plant and there are about 90 species of Chara. All of them are submerged. That means they grow under water surface. It grows attached to the substratum under water surface, and some species of Chara occur in fresh water. And some species they grow in a water which is having calcium carbonate, which is rich in calcium carbonate. And the Chara baltica is a species that grows in water which is rich in lime, which is rich in calcium carbonate. Marine forms of Chara are not known. It does not occur in sea water. Some species grow in water containing decomposed matter and some require fresh water. Mostly the plants are attached to the sandy bottom of the water tank, and it produces rhizoidal system for the attachment of the thallus. Let us see the structure of the Chara plant. Chara plant is cosmopolitan. That means it occurs throughout the world. Chara is widely distributed and distinguished from one another on the basis of its gametes or sex organs. Chara gracilis is one species. It occurs throughout the world. It is cosmopolitan. In India, the species of Chara, that is Chara zelianica, this species is very common in India. The plant of Chara consists of erect branches which are about 20 to 38 cm in height, and it has distinct nodes and internodes. Chara produces two types of branches, hence it is called as dimorphic plant because it has two types of branches. Number one, branches of limited growth or short shoots, and number two, branches of unlimited growth, okay, or branches of long shoots. Okay, let us see how are the branches of limited growth. The branches of limited growth resemble the leaves, hence these are also called as leaves. The branches of limited growth arise at the nodal region of the plant. Each node consists of 3 to 15 leaf-like branches in the form of whorl of leaf. It looks like a leafy whorl, but it is the short branches. That are the short branches. These branches are also described as short shoots or primary laterals. They are small and green in color. Let us see how are the branches of unlimited growth or long shoots. The branches of unlimited growth arise from the axils of short shoots which are leaf-like, and the branches of long shoots shows unlimited growth. They usually appear singly or more than one at a nodal region. The Chara produces rhizoidal-like outgrowth from the lowermost nodal region, and the rhizoids helps in fixation of the plants on the substratum under water surface. Okay, and how is the apical growth? How the growth of the Chara takes place? Let us see the apical growth in Chara. The growth of Chara, the main axis as well as branches, they grow. The growth takes place by a single cell which is dome shaped, or it is apical in position. The apical cell is hemispherical, half spherical. Okay, it divides by successive transverse walls that cut off a longitudinal series of disc shaped segments. Each of the disc shaped segment further divides transversely into a biconcave upper cell which forms a nodal initial and the lower biconcave cell which gives rise to an internodal initial. The nodal initial divides and redivides to form a plate of nodal cells from which the branches arise. Branches as well as rhizoids arise. Okay, and the internodal initial remains undivided but simply elongates and mature into internodal cell. The sex organs are developed from the nodes of the leaves. Okay, how is the structure of Chara cell of the Chara? The cell of the nodes are relatively small with dense granular protoplasm, and it has a single nucleus at the center. The internodal cell wall is made up of cellulose and pectin. The wall is covered by a thick layer of silica and calcium carbonate. Therefore, the plants are described as stone words. It is a very important. Sometimes it will be asked in MCQ questions. It is commonly known as Chara is commonly known as stone words. Inside the cell wall there is a layer of protoplasm, that is the primordial utricles, which is surrounded by a large central vacuole. In young cell, the young cell contain only one nucleus, but the older cells contain numerous irregularly shaped nuclei as a result of mitosis. Okay, mitotic division takes place and many nuclei are formed. And the cell also contain ellipsoidal chloroplast. Starch is the reserve food material which occurs in the cell. This is all about the cell of the Chara. Let us see the reproduction. How the Chara reproduces. Chara reproduces only by two methods, that is vegetative reproduction and sexual reproduction. Only two types of reproduction occurs in Chara. Okay, and asexual reproduction is absent in Chara. Let us see the vegetative reproduction in Chara. Vegetative reproduction in Chara takes place by following three methods, that is by amylum stars and by bulbils and by formation of secondary protonema. Let us see how is the amylum star. The amylum stars, these are the star shaped aggregates of the cells which are full of starch, which are made up of starch substances. Only starch is there in the star shaped amylum body. Okay, hence it is called amylum star. Such structures are mostly developed near the lower region of the node of the Chara plant. Such structures are called amylum stars, and amylum stars release from the parental plant and grow into a new plant in favorable environmental conditions. Okay, this is a vegetative reproduction in Chara by formation of amylum stars. Let us see vegetative reproduction by formation of bulbils. Bulbils are the small outgrowths developed on the rhizoidal system of Chara, as well as such structures develop on the lowermost nodal region of the plant, and such an outgrowths are called bulbils. These bulbils detach from the parental plant and grow into a new plant in presence of favorable environmental conditions. Okay, let us see vegetative reproduction by formation of secondary protonema. These secondary protonema are also the outgrowths which occur on nodal regions of the plant. These structures are called secondary protonema. The secondary protonema detach from the main plant and grow into a new plant of Chara. This is also a vegetative reproduction by formation of secondary protonema. Let us see how the Chara plant reproduce sexually. Sexual reproduction. The Chara produces male and female gametes, and sexual reproduction of Chara is oogamous type. Oogamous type of sexual reproduction means the oogonia, the male and female gametes are formed, and male gamete is globular structure and female gamete is very small flagellated structure. When the fusion between two such gametes takes place, that sexual reproduction is described as oogamous type of sexual reproduction. Okay. In this, let us see the gametes of Chara are large in size and are complex structures. The male sex organ of Chara, it is known as globule, and or it is also known as antheridium, and the female gamete is known as nacule, or it is also known as ogonium. Okay, and the size of sex organs is very large, which can be seen by naked eye. The Chara plant is homothallic, or it may be heterothallic. Homothallic means both the gametes are produced on the same plant, that is homothallic, or heterothallic means the gametes are produced on separate plant, that is heterothallic. Okay, and the gametes are spatially developed on a branches of limited growth or the short shoots. In monoecious or heterohomothallic plant, the antheridia may develop somewhat in advance of the ogonia and nacule or the female gamete. Okay. Let us see how is the male gamete of the Chara or the globule of the Chara. In the photograph, it has shown the sex organs of Chara. The female gamete, it is known as nacule, and male gamete, it is known as globule. and on the branch both the gametes are shown in the photograph. Let us see the details of male gamete of the Chara. The male gamete of Chara, it is known as globule, or it is also known as antheridium. The shape of the mature globule is spherical, which looks reddish brown in color. Globule consists of 25 cells. Wall of globule consists of 8 cells, which are called as shield cells. Shield cells are 8 in number. The outer wall of each shield cell is marked by a number of infoldings or curved plates. There is also an outgrowth of pedicel into the cavity within the globule. From the center of the shield cell, a rod-like structure is developed, which is cylindrical in shape, that is known as manubrium. Manubrium bears a small head-like structure. That head is known as capitula. Each capitula divides into 6 secondary capitula, and each secondary capitula cut off 2 to 4 tertiary capitula. Each tertiary capitula bears a long whip-like sperm-bearing filament or spermatogenous. This filament is also known as spermatogenous filament because it produces sperms inside it. Okay. Each spermatogenous filament consists of 25 to 200 cells. Each cell of spermatogenous filament produces a single sperm. A single antheridium usually produces 20,000 to 50,000 sperms. Very important. Okay. Let us see how is the structure of the sperm. It has shown in the photograph. Each sperm has a spirally coiled body which consists of single nucleus and a thread-like structure attached to it. The antherozoids or sperms mature at the same time. Shield cells separate from each other and the sperms are released from spermatogenous filaments. Okay, this is the structure of globule or male gamete or the antheridium of the Chara. Let us see how is the female gamete of the Chara. The photograph is shown for female gamete of the Chara. The female gamete of Chara, it is also known as nacule. Nacule is a female gamete of Chara. It has a short stalk-like structure which is attached to the dorm shoot or branches of limited growth. The mature ogonium or nacule consists of a large egg nucleus in the center which is oval in shape. The egg is protected by 5 cover cells that are called as tubular cells. Tubular cells are 5 in number. Tubular cells shows clockwise spiral arrangement around the egg. At the top of the nacule there are 5 corona cells are situated. The egg protoplasm contains oil drops and starch grains towards the base and it is hyaline above, forming a receptive spot. Okay. In the course of further development, the tubular cells elongate, become somewhat thick, and the corona cells remain small and erect when ogonium is mature. Okay, at maturity, a small slit is developed at the top of the nacule, nacule, that is female gamete, and that through that pore the sperms enter into the nacule or ogonium. The ogonium contains a single oval egg which is full of starch and oils, but the ovum remains clear and hyaline near the apex, which is called as receptive spot. Just discuss. Let us see how is the fertilization. Fertilization, fusion of the gametes, fusion of male and female gametes, that is known as fertilization. Fertilization, it is a phenomenon, it is a process in which the fusion of the gametes takes place. The sperms are released by rupturing wall of antheridium. The sperms comes out in the morning and keep moving till the evening. When one sperm enters the ogonium through the cleft or opening between the corona and fuse with the egg, and the oospore or the zygote is formed. The oospore or the zygote, it is a thick walled structure which is diploid that undergoes a period of rest within the ogonium, whose walls become thick and silicified. At maturity, it becomes red in color, finally changes black. It falls from the plant and sinks to the bottom of the or water streams where it germinates after resting of a few weeks or more. Kara plant is haploid and represent the gametophytic stage, while zygote is the only diploid part of the plant, diploid part of the life cycle, and thus there is no regular and well marked alternation of generation occurs in Kara. This is all about fertilization in Kara. Next, thank you very much. Save trees, save earth.